Hey everyone, my name is Michelle and I'm a volunteer at the Colorado Wolf and Wildlife Center, and this is our weekly wolf blog, guest starring my dogs Grizzly and Shia, the wolf dog. Hopefully he'll stick around for us, but we are outside, so he's a little bit more preoccupied with everything else that's going around, and he just ate a dead rabbit, so great. But I wanted to discuss several topics this week. A lot of them are bad, but some of them are also pretty good. So of course, we all know that wolves are still being trapped and killed here in the United States, predominantly in Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming. Now, Wyoming just legalized the killing of wolves again in the state, and unfortunately they can kill them across about 80% of the state of Wyoming without any hunting licenses other than a regular game license. So unfortunately we still have that going on, but in other states they are asking for comments on the trapping seasons. One of those states would be Montana, and they are taking comments until July 16th about their upcoming trapping season for fur bearers, which unfortunately wolves fall under a fur bearer. And then a lot of people are maybe familiar with what happened to a dog a couple weeks ago out in Idaho who got killed after biting into a poison trap. That's M44. It is a cyanide poison, and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service did pull up all of those traps from the state of Idaho, but they're still used elsewhere. So a lot of wildlife groups are now introducing petitions to try and get those taken out of other states, one of those being Wyoming. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with what the M44 poisons do, it is a powder, and when the animal bites into the trap, it releases the powder into their respiratory system, and as soon as it interacts with saliva, it does turn toxic and slowly kills the animal. So it's not very nice. Unfortunately, it's still legal. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is the one that primarily uses that in their predator control programs. Now, trapping in Wyoming has also become under fire again because a couple weeks ago a grizzly bear was actually caught in a conibear trap. Now, for those of you who don't know what a conibear is, it is a trap that was originally designed as a quick kill trap, basically like a giant mouse trap, and it's supposed to break the necks of the animals that enter them. Now, of course, that only happens if the animal steps in it correctly, and it's of course the correct animal that was set out for. Grizzly bears in this case are not the right animal. They're one of the 76% of animals that do get caught in the traps that are non-target species. So that is one of the things that is going on in the state of Wyoming. Now, kind of an interesting good news is that wolves in Washington are starting to move westward. So we actually had the first wolf to be collared west of the Cascades. That just happened this week. So we're very excited for that. So California is taking a different approach to wolves in the state from the rest of the West, and they are actually working with livestock producers now in order to get them geared up for non-lethal methods of control. So non-lethal is hazing, and hazing consists of anything from noisemakers, flaggery, which is little flags hanging on the fences, to actually just going out and scaring the animals off in person. It works very, very well in the state of Oregon, and we expect it to work just as well in California. Now, the best news that I have to share with you guys is actually regarding the McKittrick policy. Now, if you guys do remember the McKittrick policy, it is the policy that basically allows for people to kill endangered species and get away with it if they claim ignorance, which again is quite unfortunate that we would allow that. So basically, if a hunter shot a wolf and thought it was a coyote, they would get off without a fine or anything. Very opposite to how we treat game animals like deer. If you have a deer license and you shoot an elk, you're losing your license, getting fined. So the McKittrick policy has been a source of frustration for all wildlife conservation over the last several years. But just this week, a federal judge did rule it out. So that is gone. That means endangered species are protected again to the full extent of the law. So that means anybody who shoots an endangered species such as a grizzly bear or a wolf and claims they thought it was something else, the ignorance is no longer allowed to be an excuse. So we're very excited that that finally got tossed out. It's very good news for wildlife throughout the United States. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for watching this week's weekly wolf blog. We will return next week. We'll be back at the center with some of our wolves up there. Please let me know if you do have any questions. We'll be happy to answer them in a follow-up wolf blog here in the next few weeks. And we will see you guys soon.